Entity relationship model is a method for modeling business data without a tight dependency on the underlying database. It was developed by Peter Chen in 1976. Once we have an entity relationship model, it can easily be mapped into a relational database design or a network-oriented, hierarchical, object-oriented database design. What makes entity relationship modeling so intuitive and easy to understand is it adopts a more natural view that the real world consists of entities and relationships. It also incorporates some important semantics from the real world. For example, the cardinality or multiplicity of the relationships, classification of entities, attributes and relationships based on their role in the real world, representation of entities at different generalization, specialization levels. These are few examples for incorporating real world semantics into the entity relationship model. Entity relationship model also includes a special diagramming technique for visualizing entity relationship models, popularly known as entity relationship diagrams, in short ERD. Entity relationship diagram is a graphical representation of entities and their relationships. Here we have a sample entity relationship diagram. This diagram is drawn with information engineering notation. We have various notations to draw an entity relationship diagram, and information engineering notation is one of the popular notations. Another notation which is widely used for data modeling is IDEF1X. This is the same model in IDEF1X notation. You can find the symbols on the relationship lines changed when we changed the notation. We will discuss the notation, symbols and its meanings. Before that, let's discuss what is entity, what are attributes, and what is relationship. What is entity? Entity can be anything about which data is collected. It can be a person, it can be place, object, resource, anything which is important and significant in a particular domain where we are developing a data model. In a business environment, we might find customer and product as entity types. In an organization, we might find department and employee are significant entity types. In a hospital, we may find patient, doctor, drug. In a university environment, we may find student, subject, lecturer. These are sample entities applicable to different domains. Then what are attributes? Entities are not meaningful if you do not have a set of attributes to describe them. So attributes are characteristics of entity and they describe them, they give some meaning. So you can find this is an entity with a set of attributes. One or more attributes we will use to identify one instance of entity. Here, each customer instance is identified using a customer ID attribute. In this representation, at the top what you see is the name of the entity, and in the first box we have the primary key attributes, and the remaining attributes are non-primary key attributes. Then what is relationship? Relationships are association among one or more entities. It can be an association within an entity or between two entities, or it can be an association between many entities. For example, one employee instance reporting to another employee instance. So that is a relationship within employee entity type. Each employee belongs to a department. So it is a relationship between department and employee. Here we have two entity types participating in that relationship. A relationship can be among many entities. For example, a particular work item was assigned to a technician for a customer at a particular location. So this work assignment is a relationship between customer, work item, location and technician. This work assignment can be perceived as a relationship or even an entity. It is up to the user to decide which representation is most suitable. So back to entity relationship diagram. We have discussed what is an entity and attributes. We have discussed what are relationships. Now the next important step is to understand a notation so that we can start drawing entity relationship diagrams.